Hello from Halifax. This is Joe with Joe to the World Creations, and today we're going to be making my textured chevron blanket crochet pattern. You're welcome to follow along with the free pattern, which is available on my website, or you can purchase the ad-free, print-ready, nicely laid out PDF, which you can save and print and keep forever. I'll leave links to both in the description below. The pattern creates a blanket that is approximately 28 inches wide and 30 inches high, which is ideal for a newborn or car seat or stroller baby blanket. But you can adjust the width of the blanket by making less or more starting chains in multiples of 16 plus 2. To adjust the height, make fewer or more rows. Wondering what size blanket you should make? Check out my crochet blanket sizes guide, which I'll leave a link to in the description below this video. What you'll need to complete this blanket is approximately 1,230 yards or 1,122 meters of size 4, which is medium or worsted weight yarn. You can also use size 3, which is DK or light yarn. Just note that the size of your blanket using size 3 will be smaller. I used Patton's Canadiana, which is medium and 100% acrylic, and I used the colors Cherish Green, Pale Teal, and Cherished Pink. I used a total of 6 skeins of this yarn. For a hook size, if you're using size 4 yarn, I recommend either an H or an I hook if your yarn is thicker. If using size 3 yarn, I recommend a G hook. But note that the hook size isn't really important for this pattern, so you can choose whatever works best with your yarn. But whatever hook size you choose will dictate what size the blanket is, so just note that you may need to adjust the number of starting chains based on your hook size to get the size that you'd like. And you may want to go up one hook size for the starting chains. And you'll want a yarn needle, scissors, and optional is a measuring tape. The pattern does not include directions for where to change colors because there are so many possibilities. You can make the blanket in one solid color or use any number of colors. In the pattern, I've included some ideas of where to change colors and go through exactly which row to change colors on for a number of different ideas. But the possibilities of where to change colors are truly endless, and I'd love to see what you come up with. When it comes time to changing colors, you're going to want to do so at the end of the row. So in this example swatch that I've made here, I've just finished a row, finished my last stitch, and my current color is on my hook. To add a new color, I'm simply going to take a new color and just place it on my hook. And then I'm going to pull the new color through my current color and pull tight. And that's all there is to adding a new color. So now at this point, since I have my new color on my hook, I can fasten off my old color. So that just means taking your scissors and cutting. I like to leave an 8-inch tail, so that gives me lots of room to weave in all my loose ends, which you can do so at any point or when you finish the blanket. So now I have my new color on my hook. We are going to chain 1 and turn. And it's a good idea just to pull everything tight. And now with my new color, I will begin the next row and follow the instructions for whatever the next row will be using my new color. So now that you know how to change colors, let's get started with the beginning of the pattern. To start, we are going to make a slip knot. So we're going to make a loop, bring our yarn through the loop, pull tight, and put the loop on our hook. And once again, pull tight. If you'd like to follow the pattern exactly, chain 146 starting chains, or you can make any number of starting chains in multiples of 16 plus 2. A quick note about hook size is I'm using the same hook that I will be using throughout the entire pattern, but some people prefer to go up one hook size for their starting chains only. So feel free to do that, or you can use the same hook size for the whole pattern. We will be working into the back ridge loops on the next row, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. But some people prefer to go up a hook size to make it easier to work into those back ridge loops. So come back to the video when you have your number of starting chains that you'd like. Again, if you want to follow the pattern exactly, chain 146 or any number in multiples of 16 plus 2. With your starting chains completed, let's begin row 1. And for row 1, we are going to be working into the back ridge loops. And really quickly, I'll just show you that this is a top loop, this is a bottom loop, and if you slightly twist your chain, you can see these bumps along the back, and these are the back ridge loops that we're going to be working into. So in the second chain from hook into the back ridge loop, we are going to make 2 single crochet stitches into that back loop. So I'm just going to get nice and tight and organized here. So second chain from hook, flip it over slightly, working into the back bump or back ridge loop, making 2 single crochet stitches into that one back ridge loop. Next, we are going to single crochet into the next 7 chains. And once again, and for all of row 1, always working into the back ridge loop. So for the first back ridge loop, make a single crochet, and that's 1. We're going to do a total of 7, and then 2. Feel free to put me on pause and come back when you have 7 chains that you've completed single crocheting into each one. So far we've made 2 single crochet stitches into the first stitch, which was really the second chain from hook, and then we've made 7 single crochet stitches into the next 7 chains. Now we are going to skip the next chain, and that's going to create the first valley for us in our chevron. Working into the following chain, so we're skipping that one, we are going to single crochet in the next 7 chains. So once again, skipping the next stitch, in the following stitch, single crochet, and that's 1, and we're going to do a total of 7. So 2, 3, 4, 7. You can already see a little bit of shape forming there. In the next chain, we are going to make 3 single crochet stitches into the same chain. So again, working into the back ridge loop, we're going to make 3 single crochet stitches into the same chain. And this is going to create our first peak. Next, we are going to single crochet in the next 7 chains. So in the next chain, single crochet, and that's 1, and we're going to do this a total of 7 times. So feel free to put me on pause, come back when you've made 7 single crochet stitches. With our 7 single crochet stitches now complete, we are going to skip the next chain and single crochet in each of the next 7 back ridge loops. With our 7 single crochet stitches now completed, we're going to repeat everything that we just did from the time when we did 3 single crochet stitches into the 1 back ridge loop. So from there After we've made 3 single crochet stitches all into the back ridge loop, then we make 7 single crochet stitches down. We skip a chain, 7 single crochet stitches. So you're going to repeat this throughout the entire row, all the way across your starting chains. Once again, 3 single crochet stitches into the same chain, then make 7 single crochet stitches over the next 7 chains, skip the next chain, 7 single crochet stitches. You're going to do this all the way across, repeating those instructions until there is 1 stitch left. In your last stitch, which is you're still working in the back ridge loop, we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches into that last back ridge loop. And that will complete row 1. After each row, we're always going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2, we are going to be working in both loops. So in row 1, we worked into the back ridge loop. We are going to be working into both loops for the remainder of the pattern. And row 2 is very important, as we will be repeating row 2 multiple times throughout the pattern. So the first step with row 2 is that we are going to make 2 single crochet stitches into the first stitch. And throughout the pattern, you're always going to work into the first stitch, the stitch that's attached to the chain. So the first step is to make 2 single crochet stitches into that first stitch. And then we are going to make 1 single crochet stitch in the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After our 7 single crochet stitches, we are going to skip the next 2 stitches. So in the previous row, we only skipped 1. From now on, we're always going to be skipping 2. So skip this stitch, skips this stitch, and then working into the following stitch after skipping 2, we are once again going to single crochet across the next 7 stitches. So skip 1, skip 2, working into the next stitch, single crochet, and there we go. We're creating our valley there. So that was our first single crochet, and we're going to make a total of 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In the next stitch, which is the top of our peak, we are going to be single crocheting 3 times into this stitch, making 3 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3. And this is really where the repeat for the whole row begins. So that's where we're always going to start when we say repeat for the rest of the row. So we've just made our 3 single crochet stitches into the peak. Now we're going to make 7 single crochet stitches across the next 7 stitches. So go ahead, put me on pause, come back when you've made your 7 stitches. So we've just made 7 single crochet stitches after the peak where we made 3 into the same stitch, and then we made 7 across 7 stitches. Now we are going to skip the next 2 stitches. So skip 1, skip 2, and then we're going to single crochet 7 times across the next 7 stitches. So skip 1, skip 2, into the following stitch, single crochet for 1, and do this 7 times and come back to the video. As I mentioned earlier, the repeat for this row really begins at that peak when we've made the 3 single crochet stitches. So we're going to repeat everything from making those 3 stitches into the same stitch, single crochet 7 times, skip 2 stitches here, and then single crochet 7 times up, and then continue to repeat 3 single crochet stitches in the peak, 7 single crochet, skip 2, 7 single crochet, and you're going to do that all the way across the row. When you're finish the row, there should be 1 stitch left, and into that stitch we are going to single crochet twice. So making 2 single crochet stitches into this 1 stitch. So I've just made 1, let's make 1 more. And then to complete the row, as we always do, chain 1 and turn. And that completes row 2. For row 3, we're going to repeat those exact same instructions. I mentioned we're going to be doing row 2 a lot, so we're going to do the exact same thing. As a quick reminder, in the very first stitch here, we are going to single crochet twice into the first stitch, single crochet across the next 7, skip 2, single crochet in the next 7, at the peak, make 3 single crochet stitches into that 1 stitch, single crochet 7 times down, skip 2, single crochet 7 times up, and make 2 single crochet stitches into the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn, and that is row 3. So complete row 3 on your own and come back to the video when we're about to begin row 4. So I've just completed row 3, I've chained 1 and turned, and I'm about to begin row 4. And one thing to note is we are going to be working on the wrong side of the blanket for row 4, and you can always tell it's the wrong side by where your starting tail is. So if your starting tail is on the right, you're working on a wrong side. If your starting tail is on the left, you're working on a right side. And in this row, we're going to be making baubles, and the baubles are going to be facing away from us. But then when we flip the blanket over and are looking at it in the right side, we'll be able to see those baubles very clearly. So for row 4, again, in the very first stitch, we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches into that first stitch. And then we are going to make 1 single crochet stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. In the next stitch, we're going to make our first bauble. To make a bauble is essentially 5 double crochet stitches together. Let's do one now. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull our yarn through just 2 loops on our hook. And now we have 2 loops left and the first of the 5 completed. Let's do another. Yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, pull our yarn through, yarn over and pull our yarn through just 2 loops, and that's 2. So let's do a third. That's 3. 4, and last one is 5. So you're going to have a total of 6 loops on your hook. Now we're going to yarn over and pull our yarn through all 6 loops. And that's our first bauble completed. In the next stitch after a bauble is always going to be a single crochet, and the pattern calls for single crochet across the next 3, but I just want to make a note about the very first single crochet after a bauble stitch is that you just want to make sure that it's fairly tight so that the bauble really does stick out quite nicely and has a nice shape that way. You don't need to go overboard, but just make sure it's nice and tight there. So that is the first single crochet stitch, and we're going to do a total of 3. So the next one is 2 and 3. And just like in previous rows, we're going to skip the next two stitches. In the following stitch, after skipping those two, is going to be a single crochet, and that's the first of 3 that we'll be making on our way up to the peak here. So that was one. Let's make a second and a third. In the next stitch, we're going to make another bobble. So once again, and I'll just try to do this a little more quickly, but hopefully still that you can follow along. Yarn over, insert our hook. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull our yarn through all 6 loops. Now we're going to make a single crochet stitch in each of the next 3. Once again, for the stitch after the bobble, just make sure it's more tight than maybe you normally do. So make sure that bobble pops out there. Second stitch is a single crochet, and then last of the 3 single crochet. At the peak here, we are going to make 3 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. And please note, this is where the repeat begins. So when I say we're going to continue doing this all the way across the row, starting from here. So into this top stitch, making 3 single crochet stitches. Now we're going to do the same thing we did previously in this row. Is we're going to single crochet in the next 3 and then make a bobble stitch. So hopefully you're a pro at bobble making at this point. That was 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull our yarn through. Now single crochet in the next 3. Nice and tight. There we go. 2 and 3. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. In the next stitch, single crochet. That's 1. We're going to make a total of 3 going up. 2 and 3. In the next stitch, we are going to make a bobble stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there should be 4 stitches. Well, actually, sorry, what I should say is let's make 3 single crochet stitches over the next 3 stitches. So this is what you're going to repeat across the entire row. Starting with the 3 single crochet stitches in the peak, you're going to make 3 single crochet stitches, then a bobble, 3 single crochet stitches, skip the next 2 stitches. On the way up, you'll do 3, then a bobble, 3, and you're going to do this all the way across your row. At the last stitch, when you have 1 stitch left, you are going to make 2 single crochet stitches into that very last stitch. And that completes row 4. Once again, at the end of a row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. You can see your bobbles now. Hopefully your blanket's really taking shape. So now that we've completed row 4, rows 5, 6, and 7 are all the exact same, and you've done it before. They are all row 2. So for the next 3 rows, you're going to do the exact same thing for each row. In the very first stitch, single crochet 2 times into the first stitch, then single crochet 7 times, skip the next 2 stitches, single crochet 7 times up into the peak stitch, make 3 single crochet stitches into that top stitch, single crochet 7 times down, skip the next 2, single crochet 7 times up. You'll do that all the way across, and in the very last stitch, single crochet 2 times. So please go ahead and do that for rows 5, 6, and 7, and come back to the video when you're ready to start row 8, and we will do that together. So you should now have rows 5, 6, and 7 now completed, and you should have at the end of row 7 chain 1 and turn. And let's begin row 8. So for row 8, in the very first stitch, we are going to make 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2. In the next stitch, we are going to single crochet. In the next stitch, we are going to triple crochet. Triple crochets are also referred to as treble crochets. I call them triples, but you're welcome to call them whatever you'd like. So to triple crochet, we are going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through a loop. Now we're going to yarn over and pull this yarn through 2 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over and pull our yarn through 2 loops on our hook, and yarn over one more time and pull that yarn through the 2 remaining loops. And that's our first triple crochet stitch. And we're going to repeat single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet all the way down. So let's do that together. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, triple. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, triple crochet. And in the next stitch, single crochet. So you should have a total, as soon as I finish this single crochet, you should have a total of 3 triple crochet stitches made. 1, 2, 3. Now we are going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch after that, single crochet. And now we are going to repeat triple, single, triple, single, triple, single, all the way up. So if you've got the hang of this, go ahead, put me on pause and come back when you've completed single, triple, single, triple, single, all the way up. So you've just made 7 stitches since skipping the 2 stitches at the valley, which was a single, triple, single, triple, single, triple, single. And so now we're at our peak stitch. And for this row, what we're going to be doing in the peak stitch is working into this same stitch. We're going to make 3 stitches. The first is going to be a single crochet, the second is going to be a triple, and the third is going to be a single. So let's do that now. So into the same stitch, single crochet, and into the same stitch, triple crochet, and into the same stitch, single crochet. And this peak stitch begins our repeat. So we're going to be starting here to repeat the same pattern across the entire row. So now that our peak stitch is completed, in the next stitch we're going to single crochet. Now we are going to triple crochet, single crochet across the next 6 stitches. So what that looks like is a triple, single, triple, single, triple, single across the next stitch, 6 stitches. So triple, and single. So those are the first 2, and we're going to do a total of 6. So do 4 more stitches and come back to the video. So your next stitch will be a triple, single, triple, single, and come back to the video. With those 7 stitches now completed since the peak stitch, we're going to once again skip these next 2 stitches, into the next stitch, single crochet. And then just like before, we are going to repeat triple crochet, single crochet across the next 6 stitches. So triple, single, triple, single, triple, single. So go ahead, do that, and come back when you've completed those 6 stitches. So now we've completed going all the way up, making 7 stitches in total, starting with a single, single, triple, single, triple, single, triple, ending with a single. And your next stitch should be the peak stitch, and that's what I mean when the repeat starts. So for the rest of the row, you're going to repeat what we've just done here. So in each peak stitch, you make a single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet, all into the same stitch. The next stitch after that is a single crochet, and then repeat triple, single across the next 6 stitches. Skip the 2 in the valley, make a single crochet stitch, and then repeat triple, single across the next 6 stitches. So repeat those instructions all the way across your row. In the very last stitch, there should be 1 stitch left when you've completed. Into that last stitch, we are going to make 2 single crochet stitches. At the end of the row, we chain 1 and turn. And now we can start row 9. So with row 9, it's the same repeat that we've done multiple times so far. It's repeating row 2. Once again, making 2 single crochet stitches in the first stitch, 7 single crochet stitches down, skipping the 2 in the valley, 7 single crochet stitches up, make 3 single crochet stitches in the peak, 7 single crochet stitches down, skip the 2 in the valley, 7 up, and in the last stitch, making 2 single crochet stitches. So come back to the video when you've completed row 9, and we'll talk about row 10. So now row 9 is completed. I've chained 1 and turned, and I'm ready to start row 10. Now row 10 is exactly the same as row 8. I'm going to leave a note to the exact timing of row 8 in the description below this video so that you can re-watch that row. But as a really quick reminder, what we did in row 8, which you're going to do for row 10, is make 2 single crochet stitches in the first stitch, in the next stitch single crochet, and then triple single across the next 6 stitches, skip the 2 stitches in the valley, single crochet, then repeat triple single across the next 6 stitches in each peak stitch, making a single, triple, single into the same stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and then repeat triple single across the next 6, skip, single crochet, skip 2, single crochet in the next stitch, and then repeat triple single across the next 6. And you're going to do that all the way across, and in the very last stitch, making 2 single crochet stitches. So you go ahead and do that now and come back to the video to start row 11. So now with row 10 completed, we have 1 more row before we start repeating everything, and that is repeating row 2 again. So for row 11, we are going to be repeating row 2, which really quickly, once again, 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 7 down, skip 2, 7 up, 3 in the peak, 7 down, skip 2, 7 up, and repeat that all the way across. At your very last stitch, make 2 single crochet stitches. So go ahead, complete row 11, which is essentially repeating row 2, and come back to the video and we'll talk about what to do next. So now that you've finished row 11, the rest of the blanket is just repeating rows 2 to 11 again, over and over again. So now that you've completed row 11, you're going to repeat row 2 and then do row 3, row 4, all the way through 11, over and over again until your desired height of your blanket. So for reference, a blanket that is 30 inches high repeats rows 2 to 11 a total of 8 times. But you're welcome to end whenever you'd like. Keep repeating the pattern for as long as you'd like, and you can end after any row. So it doesn't need to be an even or odd number or any section. If you wanted to end earlier than 11, you're absolutely welcome to. And that is the whole pattern. After you're finished and you've reached your desired height, fasten off and weave in all your loose ends. I definitely recommend blocking your blanket, and I'll leave a link in the description of a good resource to show you how to do that, just to ensure it lies flat and that your ends don't curl. But other than that, I really hope you enjoy making this blanket, and I'd love to see what you've created. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to help, please contact me anytime. And if you like this video, I'd be so delighted if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.